Hey guys, Mr. Bankwork here. In this video, we're going to look at factoring out a trinomial. With the trinomials that we're going to be looking at in these examples, we're actually going to combine two different types of factoring. The first thing that we want to look for anytime we're doing any factoring is we want to check to see if there's a greatest common factor that we can take out. So as we're looking at this example, 2x squared plus 6x minus 36, there is a greatest common factor that I can take out of all three of these terms. And what I notice is that all of the numbers are divisible by 2. So I can factor 2 out of this trinomial. Now when I factor that 2 out, I want to remember that that really means I'm dividing everything in here by that 2. So if I take 2x squared and divide it by 2, I just get x squared. If I take 6x and divide it by 2, I just get 3x. And if I take negative 36 and divide it by 2, I get negative 18. Now, after I take that GCF out of my trinomial, I then want to check to see if I can unfoil it. And to unfoil this or to factor this, I'm going to use sum and product factoring. So I need a pair of numbers that are going to add to give me 3 and multiply to give me that 18. Well, if I think about numbers that multiply to 18, it could be 1 and 18. It could be 2 and 9. It could be 3 and 6. And I think that's it. Now I need a pair that's going to somehow allow me to add up to 3. And I'm looking at the 3 and the 6 pair because on a number line, those would be 3 spaces away from each other. Now, in order to get 3 as my answer, what I'm actually going to have to do is take 6 and subtract 3 from it. So when I break this trinomial up into its two separate binomials, well, to get x squared, I need x and I need x. I just came up with a positive 6 and a negative 3, so I'm going to go plus 6 and minus 3. But I also can't forget about that GCF that I took out at the very beginning. That 2 is still technically out in front of these binomials. So my final answer, the fully factored out form here, is 2 times x plus 6 times x minus 3. Taking a look at this one, we've got 3x squared minus 6x minus 72. The first thing I'm going to look for again is a GCF, a greatest common factor that we can take out. As I look at the numbers, I notice that all of these numbers are divisible by 3. So I'm going to factor 3 out. Now factoring that 3 out really means that we're dividing by 3. So if I take 3x squared divided by 3, I just get x squared. If I take negative 6x divided by 3, I get negative 2x. And if I take negative 72 divided by 3, I get negative 24. Now I'm going to unfoil this. So I need a pair of numbers that are going to add to negative 2 and multiply to 24. Well, that could be 1 and 24. It could be 2 and 12. It could be 3 and 8. Or it could be 4 and 6. Now I'm somehow trying to add up to negative 2. So I'm going to look at the 4 and the 6 because those would be 2 spaces apart on a number line. And to get negative 2, I'm going to have to do 4 minus 6. So when I set up my binomials, to get x squared, I would need to take x times x. To add to negative 2 and multiply to negative 24, we just said that was going to be positive 4 and negative 6. So plus 4 and minus 6. But again, I can't forget about my GCF that I took out right away. So for our final answer, we've got 3 times x plus 4 times x minus 6. Now, while we're talking about factoring, one thing that I want to mention is that not every trinomial is factorable. So if I were to try to factor this one out using my sum and product factoring, I would need a pair of numbers that add to 8 and multiply to 33. Well, if I think about numbers that multiply to 33, it could be 1 and 33, or it could be 3 and 11, and that's it. If I'm trying to get 8, I can actually get 8 using the 3 and the 11. I could go 11 minus 3. But if I tried to set up my binomial, well, to get w squared, I would have to do w and w. To get that 8, we said that it would have to be positive 11 and negative 3. Now, one thing that we talked about with factoring, and it looks like this is going to work, but factoring is the reverse of foiling. So if I take the binomial that I just got and I FOIL it back out, I should get that trinomial that I started with. And we're going to run into a little bit of an issue when we try to FOIL this one out. So if I do w times w, that's going to be w squared. If I do w times negative 3, that's going to be negative 3w. If I do 11 times w, that's going to be plus 11w. But if I do 11 times negative 3, I'm going to get negative 33. Now, if I combine those like terms in the middle, I'm going to get that 8w like I wanted. But now I have a minus 33 on the end, and I was supposed to have a plus 33. So we tried to FOIL it out, but it didn't work. This pair of numbers that we came up with the 11 and the negative 3, would multiply to give us negative 33 instead of positive 33. So because we can't get it to work out, I would say that this one does not factor. So again, not every trinomial is factorable. And when you're doing your factoring or your unfoiling, it can be a good idea to refoil out the binomials that you get to make sure that it does in fact give you that trinomial that you started with. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.